think that the death penalty has affected Toledo probably as it's affected almost any place that has the death penalty. The system isn't perfect, and it better be a perfect system for there to be a penalty whereby a person's life is taken. The system's not good enough. Mistakes are made, and if you make a mistake and someone is killed by the state because of the death penalty, that's not right for a civilized society.
Since 1973, since they legalized abortion, there have been 52 million abortions, okay? In the age group of 15 to 19, there's been 8,840,000 abortions, okay? And just in 2008, which we have, that's last year, we have actual statistics, okay? There were 1,747 abortions in both Lucas, Wood, Ottawa, and Fulton counties. Those are the counties that surround Lucas County. Of those 1,748 or 84, 292 abortions were among children, really, ages 15 to 19. And we believe there's 2 victims with every abortion, at minimum. There's the baby, the unborn baby who's destroyed, and then there's the young girl who is forever impacted by that decision. Let's face it, Northwest Ohio has probably economically been hit harder, in Toledo, Lucas County specifically, than a lot of other parts of the state with this recent downturn in the economy. And we had seen a trend in the number of abortions going down, down, down. And in 2008, the year I referenced earlier, Lucas County, and actually the Diocese of Northwest Ohio, was the only region in the entire state that actually went up in abortions. Yet overall, the state numbers went down again, slightly, but we think in large part because when women are not only faced with an unplanned pregnancy, but then the uncertainty of being able to provide for that child, they naturally turn to what seems to be the most simple and most convenient solution.
Kids who are vulnerable are more likely to be trafficked. So poverty creates a great vulnerability for kids. If kids have a parent that is abusing drugs and alcohol, that kid's going to be vulnerable. If somebody has a mental health issue not taken care of in the family, that kid's going to be vulnerable. If they're a runaway, they're vulnerable. If they have 2-parent home in middle-class America and the family has 3 kids and one of them needed a little bit more love than the parent recognized, then that kid is also vulnerable. So yeah, it's disproportionately poor kids because poverty brings a great vulnerability. Who gets to be called missing and who gets to be called runaway is very interesting. And if you get labeled runaway, like I said, nobody is looking for you. Police are not actively looking for runaways. There are 100 runaways every month. They just don't have the resources to look for runaways. Outreach programs in the community are looking for runaways in this community, but our runaways are taken across the country. So there's no communication across the country. So when kids are snatched or taken, they're just gone. And if the police or the parent believes that that kid's a runaway, then that kid can be used and abused for months before anybody recognizes that that kid is a victim of human trafficking. We find our victims, FBI is out working for us, and so because of that we discover more victims, and then people say, oh my God, Toledo has a big, big problem. Well, that's because we're looking and we're finding. If you go to Cleveland, if they look, they would find, but they're not looking. No, sexism is totally involved, and not only sexism, but racism, discrimination. There are more girls that are trafficked under the age of 18 than boys, but of the boys that are trafficked, they're more likely to be gay, transgender, or otherwise sexual minorities. Then we say kids are our most precious resource, they're our jewels, and that's the way we treat them. So when you look at the preponderance of girls, when you look at the preponderance of youth of color, when you look at sexual minorities, then when we incarcerate them, we are actually practicing institutional sexism, institutional racism, and institutional discrimination. Attorney General's office, estimation of how many victims are in Ohio. So we determined that 1,078 American kids were being trafficked. But we also found that almost 800 foreign-born people are trafficked right here. So kids are recruited here and shipped all over the country, but foreign-born people are brought into the United States, pulled into Ohio, and then we estimate that there's about 800 of them involved in not only sex trafficking through massage parlors and things, but also labor trafficking, where they're forced to work and not allowed to quit. Pretty much, if you are an American citizen and you're getting a great deal on some item, you should look into that, because there might be somebody not getting paid at all. So anytime you're getting a great unbelievable deal, you know, I would be suspicious about that. That's what we would be asking for, not only asking for, that's what we would hope for, that's what we would boldly demand, that Central Catholic be one of the Christian high schools to step forward and do the work that Jesus would want us to do.